Trent, you took the Taking Charge of My Life and Health class, and what for you was the biggest, benefit of it, and how are you using what you learned in your daily life?
I think the biggest thing I took away from that class as a whole was actually setting my goals on paper, and not just like setting a simple goal, like actually a very specific goal, and this is when I'm going to do it, how I'm going to do it, and writing out my action plan. And then I took that class, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, and it's cool to like look back on my notes and like see the progress I'm making, or see where I'm struggling too. I mean, it goes both ways. That helped me a lot, is just getting my life on paper and standing back and like looking at my life and where I want to go.
So how have you been able to use pause, notice, and choose in your daily life?
One way I was able to use pause, notice, and choose is I have had an accord for my divorce coming up, and I was out running around with Tyler, and I got a call from my attorney that I had missed court. And usually, like, my first instinct was to like panic, freak out, or cause a scene, but I was able to sit down and choose to like take a moment and realize to live in like here and now. Like, I can't change it, so I just kind of like moved that aside, focused what I had on in front of me, and was able to come back to that situation later with much more calm and collected thoughts. That's one way I was able to use it.
So how did that situation ultimately get resolved?
I finished out what I was doing, and when I got home and all by myself, I got to call my attorney and tell him, hey, what was up, and it ended up not even being a big deal, but he went ahead and like represented for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't even a big deal, but it was something small like that used to, I would have just like derailed.
Yeah. So if you hadn't have taken the time to pause and think about it and respond later, what do you think would have happened?
I probably would have lost my attitude with my lawyer, and that probably would not have turned out very good for me.
Right.
And who knows, I probably would have called my ex-wife and tried to handle it on my own, and just, I don't think there would have been any good outcome either way.
So Trent, now you've sat through the Cycle of Addiction class and the Taking Charge of My Life and Health, and so what's your perspective about those two classes and how they're benefiting you? Or
Yes, ma'am. I think both classes were good. I've learned a lot of information in both classes. I will say that the Taking Charge of My Life and Health was more like forward-looking. It kind of helped me. It felt more positive to me. The Cycle of Addiction, it's kind of a trigger for me, kind of. It kind of, I don't know, made me more focused on my addiction, I guess. It was kind of set in the past, but I mean, they're both good classes, but I think I got a lot more out of the forward-looking class.
so if I'm hearing you correctly, then you're saying that for where you're wanting to go with your life, that the Taking Charge of My Life and Health
Yes.
has helped you to be more forward-thinking and helps set you up for where you want to go. Is
Yes,
that correct?
Yeah, I feel like that's well better worded, I think. Yes, ma'am.
So Taking Charge of My Life and Health, it is set up to be a forward-looking class, and it is set up. That's the purpose of the SMART goals and the action steps and learning how to handle any barriers. So that makes sense that you would feel that way about it. It's interesting to hear you say that you feel like this recovery class, the Cycle of Addiction, might be a trigger for you and help, kind of keeping you focused on what your addiction was. And
But I think it's good too, because it's humbling, because I mean, that is me. The cycle is me to a T, but I don't know, sometimes I don't want to admit it, I guess.